We have 6 members here. Woohoo!
Wow. Very exciting. All right. So I think we are live. Yeah. Okay, great. So I'm calling the meeting to order. Welcome to our new members. Welcome to the public. Let's see. Anne, can you do the roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Barakat?
Present.
Commissioner Garrett Penguillo?
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay?
I'm here.
Commissioner Lopez is not here. Commissioner Rios?
In attendance.
Chair Zapata?
Here. Okay, thank you, Anne. We're going to start off with,
We have Commissioner Lopez.
oh, hey, all
So
right.
he's here.
Hey, Robin. Okay, so we start off with the land acknowledgement, and one of our former commissioners suggested we share the mic by taking turns reading it. Would anyone be willing to read it? It is, you can kind of see it in one of the squares, or it's on the online agenda.
I don't think I've read it yet. I'll read it if nobody else is up for it.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay. The City of Albany recognizes that we occupy the land originally protected by the Confederated Villages of Lejeune. We acknowledge the genocide that took place on these lands, and we must make strides to repay the moral debt that's owed to the indigenous people, specifically the Ohlone tribe. We thank them for their contributions, which have transformed our community and will continue to bring forth growth and unity. The City of Albany commits to sustaining ongoing relationships with the tribe and together build a better future for all that now make this their home.
Thank you, Jim. I'm going to do a brief screen share to show you all the meeting agreements that we came up with in September of last year. And so basically, the agreements that we came up with are the following. The first was work to keep your comments to no more than 2 minutes, as time is of the essence of in these meetings. The second is just to share time, and so leaving space for those who have not commented to do so, so creating space for one another. Use the raise hand function and lower once you've had a turn. So this helps a lot with clarity. Sometimes people use the raise hand function and then it stays up, and then, or they wave. And so we're just trying to sort of routinize it with the raised hand function. Of course, if you can't use it for whatever reason, we'll calculate that in there, but as the chair, it's helpful. The fourth is to keep our agendas manageable. So ideally, there are 2 main items. This is something we worked on early on. We'd have longer agendas, and so making the agendas manageable. And lastly, respect for one another, maintaining collegiality in an effort to remain effective and focused. So I'm just going to give you all a second to take a look at that. And any comments or questions that people have? Okay. All right. Moving on to item 2, the approval of the minutes. So are any amendments or a motion to approve?
I, Commissioner Lopez, motion to approve minutes from prior meeting.
Second that.
All right. Any comments? Okay. Anne, if you or whoever could, yeah, Anne, can you do a roll call vote?
Member Barakat?
Aye.
Garrett Penguillo?
Yes.
Lindsay?
Yes.
Lopez?
Yes.
Rios?
Yes.
Zapata?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 3 is public comment. So this public comment portion is for people desiring to address the commission on social and economic justice items that are not on the agenda. So anyone who would like to do so has 3 minutes. And there is a note just here on the Brown Act limits our ability to take and discuss items that are not on the agenda. So items that are brought up may be referred to staff or placed on future agendas. So I think we have 2 hands up, and if you want to bring them in.
I just wanted to say welcome to the new members. I'm really glad you're here, and I look forward to watching meetings and seeing the work that you all accomplish together. So thank you very much for your service, and welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? For some reason, I can't find the mute thing here. I just wanted to say that I sent in one of those all commission emails to the SEJC and the city council meeting a couple of months ago now. And I mentioned this to Jeremiah when I saw him, and I got no response from anybody. So I'm just curious if that system is working. What I had sent was a note, a letter saying about the vandalism at Mr. C's. I don't know if everyone's aware that Mr. C's was vandalized twice in 2 weeks, where they tore down a sign at his business and then broke one of his, turned over a planter and broke it in front of his shop. And I had wanted to see if anybody was interested in doing a little GoFundMe or something, or if we could reach out, because we're trying to encourage African-American businesses, and I mean, all businesses for that matter, and be supportive of new businesses. But, you know, he's certainly been here for a very long time. And I wanted to see if we could sort of jointly show some support there. And I got no response. So I'm just curious if maybe Anne could speak to whether the emails that I sent even went through, or if people were just on holiday or whatever. And just say that I think that it would be good to reach out to Mr. C to show some support for him. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rosemary. I don't know, Anne, if you wanted to comment on that. I can't remember if I saw that.
The system is working. I do see her email in the SEJC inbox. What I am checking is, I believe one of the council member responded, but I have to check.
Okay, thank you. Jeremiah?
Yeah, I did receive the email, so the email system's working. I reached out to Mr. C, and I volunteered my time to help install security cameras. He's still waiting on the security cameras to come in. I know it's been so long, but I'm going to help install them when they arrive.
Thank you. Jim?
Yeah, I can't remember if I saw it either, but there was also some stuff like on the Albany Facebook, one of the Albany Facebook groups. And so there were sort of other routes by which people were helping. And I think a number of people on Facebook helps. I don't know how we can deal with these kinds of, Anne, I don't know, when there's sort of these emergencies that come up, it's not something that's on our work plan. How
Right.
could it have been on our work plan that someplace might get attacked? I mean, you know, so I was kind of like, can you provide any guidance on that? Should this happen in the future or something?
I was going to comment on that. One thing is, I could say that the system is working. We did receive the email, but is it appropriate, or is it on the SEJC work plan to respond to? It's not on the work plan. So
Yeah, maybe we ought to have that on a future work plan. But it really kind of ties our hands the way that the commissions work. Still, it's good to get notified. I mean, good. This terrible thing that happened. So anyway, it looks like from the Facebook thing that a number of people are working on it. And if a GoFundMe was started, I think if the number wasn't too big, I'll bet you it would come through. So I hope somebody does start that.
Okay, thank you. Jim, yeah, there you go. All right, so we're gonna go into announcements. And by the way, we're gonna hear any staff announcements. And then I thought what we would do is give everyone in our kind of new iteration of the SEJC 2 minutes to talk about just what brought you here. Maybe we can get to know each other a little bit better. And particularly since we have, you know, 2 new members. Robin's first meeting was last time, and welcome everyone. But just to have a minute to learn a little bit more about one another. But before that, let's go to staff. Anne, are there any staff announcements?
Sorry, no, there aren't any.
Okay. Thank you. So just to make sure that we're, you know, everyone has equal time, I am going to use my timer, and at 2 minutes, I will wave. And if you could just wrap up your comments if you've gone all 2 minutes. But just this question of what brought you here, you know, and interpret that however you want. I'm an English teacher, so I'm very into interpretation. I'll actually start us off and model, because I thought of this a little bit beforehand. So, and then we'll just go alphabetically to, and by the way, as the chair, I use first names. I mean, in the past, we've done, you know, member Lindsay and these sorts of things, but my name is KZ. I'll start. So my name is KZ Zapata. I was born and raised in Albany with my family. I went to Albany High School. I graduated in 1985. And there were 4 of us. My father's Peruvian. He immigrated to this country when he was 18. My mother's Swedish. And so we grew up a mixed race family in Albany, a very fascinating experience in the 80s, 70s and 80s. And I got involved in social justice work throughout my sort of college years, and I became a teacher. And I'm a teacher at Berkeley High School. I'm also a parent of 2 kids who attended Albany Middle School, and then are now graduated from Berkeley High. So we kind of navigated Albany, Berkeley. My mom lives across the street. I live on Canes. And so I have like a couple of us on here, some deep roots in Albany, and also, you know, some very direct experiences with what it's like to sort of feel othered and not like I don't belong. And I think that for a lot of people of color in this city, that's the experience. And so this commission work has been important to me. I want to just end by saying this is my last meeting, actually, and we're going to be doing election of officers. I'm in grad school like Robin, but I'm still juggling way more than you are, Robin. Sorry, you're juggling a lot. I'm not able to juggle this. So I need to step down because I'm actually not doing a very good job being a single parent and all this, a teacher and doing grad school right now. So tonight's my last night. I've been, I think, 1.5 years, and it's been an amazing journey. I really appreciate you all. And that was my 2 minutes. So I'm going to send it off to, I don't know your first name now. Maria.
Hi there. Thank you for that. And I'm sad to see you go. My name is Maria. I am from originally Oklahoma City. I've been in California for about 7.5 years. I spent the last 6 in the North Bay. I'm a returning student to academia. I've gone back to school through the junior college system in California. Now I'm at Berkeley studying public policy and getting a master's. And my focus is on socioeconomic justice, on racial justice. And So I've been in Albany for a year and a half, and I love it. My partner and I live here, and we want to stay here and be involved. Also, I was a part of a student team last year that did a really in-depth report over 5 months on Albany, on the city of Albany's crisis response in the community. And so I learned a lot about how Albany works. I learned about a little bit about the community, and I have a lot more to learn. And so I have some insight. I also do some informal and formal outreach in the unsheltered community in the Bay Area and the North Bay. And so that's definitely an issue that I'm close to and passionate about. And so I definitely want to focus on how to support community members through listening to their experiences and their needs and center their voices.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. We're going to go to Jeremiah.
All right, what a nice surprise. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jeremiah Garrett Pinguello. Can you guys hear me okay? Can't hear me?
I think you need to speak up a little bit or be closer to your mic.
Can you hear me better now? Okay. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jeremiah Garrett Pinguello. Born and raised in the Bay Area, born at Oakland Children's Hospital. I went through Albany schools ever since elementary school and middle school, and I graduated Albany High School in 2001. Went to Long Beach State, where I studied civil engineering. And I've been a longshoreman working at the Port of Oakland since I graduated college. Let's see here, maybe about 5 years ago, I was living in an RV in Albany. I got injured at work, and so I put a roof over my head living in an RV. And I know what it's like dealing with the city of Albany and the police department and residents in Albany. The RV is a blight to the community. So I know what it's all about. These past couple days, I've outreached to a lot of homeless here in Albany, Berkeley, Harrison Street. I've been passing out water. It's just been really hot. My last name is Pinguello. I'm 50% Portuguese. My dad's 100% Portuguese. So I consider myself a minor. And I'm just here to help out. I was appointed by the Albany Unified School District. They appointed me. There were 6 people to be appointed. There were 3 parents, 2 teachers, and myself. And for whatever reason, the school board voted to pick me for the SEJC. And I'm always on Solano Avenue every Thursday from 2 to 5. I pay for unhoused individuals to do their laundry for free. I pay for it out of my pocket. And I bring food to Solano and pass it out at the same time.
Thank you, Jeremiah. We're going to go to Jim.
Okay, well, that's my name, Jim. And first I want to just say thanks, Casey. Really gonna miss you. I think you've been a tremendous chair. Hope you're gonna find some time in the future to keep working on stuff once you get your head above water. School just started, and single parenting and grad school, my Lord. I've been in Albany 35 years, something like that. I'm a retired teacher. Before that, I was, that's my 3rd career, I guess. My first career was a construction worker. And then I became a computer programmer, and then a teacher. So I just retired last year. I now work part-time as a financial coach. And then my key sort of items that I work on in terms of social justice, if you will, are anti-racism, electoral reform, changing the election system, and financial literacy for underserved communities. So those are kind of the things I work on, and other stuff, it's just not high enough priority to get my time. And then just a little thing is I'm a soccer nut. You know, I coach, ref, I play, and have for ever since I fell in love with the game when I was a teenager. So among other things, but my time is just about up. So there you go.
Thank you, Jim. Robin.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? New members, welcome. Similar to Jim's statement, Casey, thank you for all your effort, even the work that predates when I was appointed to the commission. I know everything you've done has been phenomenal, and I hope the rest of us can at least carry an ounce of the weight that you put forth. I think collectively we're capable of doing that. In terms of who I am for new members, as you heard, my name's Robin, pronouns he, him. I'm the father of a 12-year-old child in Albany Middle School, also expecting a newborn in October. My family had relocated to Albany a short while ago into the UC Village. I'm finishing up my PhD at UC Berkeley in Environmental Science, Policy, and Management. Prior to that, completed my master's at San Jose State in Water Resources Engineering. Prior to that, bachelor's degree in Civil Engineering at San Francisco State after going the community college route. Of course, it wasn't that clear cut of a path, and I was in and out of trouble with the youth, was inadequately prepared for educational route. And that kind of leads into like why I'm involved with the SEJC, particularly around how we can better support our youth, both within the city of Albany, but regionally as well, making sure we connect our youth with other youth in the region to understand the privileges that many of us inherently have at that. But also living in this world of the brown man in minoritized society and being system impacted has greatly influenced my need to be involved. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Member Rios, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry.
My first name is Flor.
Okay, sorry.
So I came to this commission through the work of Chair Zapata. So I'm very sorry to hear that you're leaving, but you leave a long legacy of good work, even though you feel as though it's not good enough. I'm sure it's more than most have ever done. So thank you so much for your service. I am a solo parent and have returned to education. So I completely understand your perspective of juggling multiple responsibilities along with your civic duty. I came to the commission and hopefully to elevate some of the concerns of the community who identify from Hispanic to Latino to Indigenous. There's a lot of multi-ethnic, multicultural, multiracial designations under that large umbrella that we call Hispanic and Latino members of the community. My children do attend Albany school system, so we're working hopefully to get some really good representation there and here on the commission. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Flor. Thank you so much, all of you, for taking the time to introduce yourself and getting a sense of, you know, who we are collectively and individually. I did want to go back. Thank you, Robin, for reminding us to clarify pronouns so that we're referring to one another correctly. And so just to start off, so KZ is my first, you can just call me KZ, and I use both she and they pronouns. And if we could just go kind of not numerical, alphabetical order, and Maria.
My name is Maria Baraka. I use she, her pronouns.
I think that's you, Jeremiah.
He, him.
Jim. Oh, he said he, him.
Oh, he, him.
Yeah.
For me, he, him.
And Robin said he, him earlier and has it on his screen. And Flor?
She, her, thank you.
Great. Okay. Appreciate you all. So we are going to move on. We don't have any presentations today. Sometimes we have presentations. Jeremiah, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I have announcements.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. So yes, it is time for if any commissioners have announcements. That introduction was, part of the announcements, but if perhaps other people have an announcement, you can raise your hand and do so, and we'll start off with Jeremiah.
Are you able to hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so announcements for commissioners and the public listening. There's a couple food resources available to Albany residents. One is the Berkeley Food Network. The address is 1925 9th Street in Berkeley. It's on the corner of 9th Street and University. It offers free food pretty much every day except for Fridays and Sundays. The hours are Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12. And Wednesday is a good day for people that go to work or school during the day. Wednesday, they offer a food bank from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So you can still get free food there. Also, the Berkeley Food Pantry, actually, I went there today myself. I got 4 bags of food, salads, really good produce, chicken breasts, milk, eggs, butter. And so the Berkeley Food Pantry is located at 1600 1600 Sacramento Street in Berkeley. It's located on the corner of Cedar and Sacramento. It's by the North Berkeley BART station. They're open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And that's pretty much Trader Joe's, Sprouts, Costco, and Whole Foods donations. And also there's a home delivery service they offer. If you call 510-525-2280, they'll deliver food to your residence at no charge. So call that number. Food is really expensive right now, so that's a really good resource available. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops, sorry. Let's see. I don't see any other hands, so we're going to move on. Let's see. So I wanted to just take a moment to refresh you all, or refresh us all, including the public, about the process that we've sort of come to in the SEJC. So I think a new batch of us came in January of, I think it was 2020. And, we sort of massaged this process. We had some fits and starts. And what we came up with was a subcommittee process by which we've done a lot of kind of vetting of ideas, following and respecting the Brown Act, and still working to move our process forward. So I'm going to do some brief slides to show you all this process that we've come up with, because as I leave and as a new chair takes over, perhaps you all understanding this is obviously important. So a couple of you have already seen these slides, but I do want to review them. So these are our agreements, and if you all, want to continue to use them or, finesse them and change them in any way, you're welcome to, but we're leaving that behind, or I am. So this is the subcommittee process. And to start off, I want to just say the work plan is the driver of our work. So any great idea that, that we have, I heard about this, or, this calls my attention, it's really that's not our purview. Our purview is the work plan that we have actually come to, and the work plan can be amended. It can be, amended through a process of the council. So we're a commission of the city of Albany, but we're sort of connected to the council's work, and our work plan is the driver of what we do. So that's something really important to remember. I know when I got on the SEJC, I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this, that, and the other thing. And that's not really how it is. It's a plan that we're set to follow. So, so what I want to show you all is this process that we've come up with, which is this, as it says on the screen, this work plan specifies the scope of our work. It can be amended by a vote of the city council. So that amendment process requires us to kind of toggle back and forth between council. Out of the work plan, we organized it into 5 subcommittees. And so the Racial Equity and Social Justice Subcommittee is one. The Mental Health Subcommittee is another. The Housing Subcommittee is a third. Aging, Disabled, Homebound, in Place is a 4th subcommittee. And Youth Leadership is a 5th subcommittee. So just to briefly comment on that, our past members have led different parts of the subcommittee work, and you know, built on past work. Aging in Place had a huge part of SEJC work in past years. Margie Marks, Bart Grossman, many people in the past have sort of moved forward this Aging in Place work. And so we have sort of inherited it and are, you know, either continuing to move it forward, or if it's, you know, sort of had its run in the SEJC, that also can be part of the conversation in the subcommittees. Each subcommittee is small enough so that it isn't bound to the Brown Act requirements of being, you know, meeting in public places and things like that. But all of it requires us to come back to this public meeting. So it's not like things are happening in the subcommittee and, you know, decisions are made by any means, because our commission is a public commission. So I want to give you an example just to root us in a you know, what exactly has happened in the past in this process. So, for example, each of these subcommittees may come up with, or it says here, we meet outside of our meetings, we draft ideas, we think about maybe the public has made a comment in the past, right? And all of this is sort of revolving around our work plan. As such, we do report backs, which is what we're headed into next, and we get public comment and ideas from other SEJC members. So, and this sort of is an iterative process through which eventually, ideally, a recommendation can go to council and we can actually see some work come to fruition from this sort of, you know, circular process of the public, those of us who are on the commission. And just to say briefly, something we've moved forward, Jim, myself, and a former member, Sierra, we worked on the racial equity plan, which is already part of the city, and we'll talk about that later. But we moved forward this idea of a survey, and that went through a process, and it came back here to SEJC, and it eventually made its way to council, and has actually been voted on by council and is moving forward. So there's actually a racial equity survey that is going to be taking place in the city of Albany that came out of the work of the SEJC. So, and there's lots of things. That's just one example. There's many other of these subcommittees that have, you know, done different work and moved different work forward. But I wanted to ground us in that process and lead us into a period where we hear the report backs. Sometimes a subcommittee has not met, and especially now that, you know, we're having sort of a changing of the guard, we're going to actually need to reorganize these committees, and you all are going to need to get on different committees while I get off, and we're going to need to reorder ourselves. Okay. So right now we're going to go into a process where we hear from each subcommittee. As the chair, sometimes we've had it where we've had public comment after each subcommittee. or just overall public comment. We want to always make sure our public has a chance to comment. So I'm actually going to start off with public comment, and then we will hear from the subcommittees. Is that okay, Anne? Or is there a different?
It's fine, although if you do the public comment first, they're not able to comment on what you reported.
Thank you. So let's actually hear then. Great. And by the way, just to pull the curtain back, that a lot of that happens too, where, you know, I check in with Anne live. So don't feel like you have to be an expert. I did not know how to do this at all. I have a lot of notes written down here that I can pass off to any future chair who takes over. I see Jeremiah's hand, and then we'll go into the
Yeah, I was going to mention the same thing. Can we do public comment at the end? That way public comment can make their public comment based on what we report back for our subcommittee reports, please. Thank you.
Sounds good. Yeah.
He basically said what I said.
Yeah. He it's hard to hear you, by the way, Jeremiah. Whatever you're doing on the other times, it's going better. Okay. So our first subcommittee is the Racial Equity Subcommittee. That's Jim, Robin, and I. And Robin, did you want to make a couple comments? I forgot how we were going to do this.
Yeah, sure. So I'll open up with our Racial Equity Subcommittee. We did meet, although meetings were cut short, and maybe I should have made this clear during the announcement, but I had a recent personal family issue in which my wife was severely injured. So it severely limited my ability to participate, but we did make some progress, some of which was revisiting, talking about the Racial Equity Impact Plan. We did touch on briefly about the idea or this concept of needing to better articulate what exactly we expect to get out of the Racial Equity Impact Plan. And I do know that KZ and Jim also talked briefly about opportunities for reparation to racial group and a resolution on honoring the Lishan Ohlone tribe. Perhaps Jim or KZ, you could touch bases on that.
Yeah, basically the way the subcommittee is laid out is, for all intents and purposes, we took the work plan and sort of parsed out the parts of the work plan that correspond to each subcommittee. So the other two, the opportunities for reparations, is actually in the Racial Equity Impact Plan. You're right about that, Robin. But the work with the Lishan Ohlone tribe is actually kind of ongoing within council. So that's why it's not very alive in our subcommittee. So maybe in future iterations of the Racial Equity Subcommittee, if whoever gets on it tonight, revisiting that Racial Equity Impact Plan might actually be a great move forward for the SEJC. I see Jim and Anne, do you want to, I want to make sure you get a chance to, maybe there's something procedurally going on.
No, nothing procedurally. I just thought, since we have several new members, just to let you guys know where the Racial Equity Plan sits. It's on the city website under our city. And if you click on the Social Equity and Inclusion link, it is there with several links, and then community dialogues and the meeting that has happened. Just want to share that. And any document that's shared with the members are always made public, either on the city website or attached to this previous meeting agendas.
Thank you, Anne. Jim?
I was just going to say that I count the city sort of developing a respectful and dramatically improved relationship with the Lishan tribe as a success of the SEJC, although it didn't go through the normal process. That we were doing this land acknowledgement thing, and I think it was KZ, I'm not sure, just simply reached out to them. And then the city council found out about this thing, and we never did anything formally, but the city council was like so excited about it. And so in favor of developing a positive working relationship and a respectful relationship, that it just kind of took off. But it was initiated by the SEJC. Didn't go through the formal SEJC process, but who cares? It got done. And, you know, we're moving in the right direction there. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah, I guess I'll say on that line of thought of moving in the right direction, something additionally that was in conversation from our subcommittee meeting was making sure that we actualize on two of our top priorities, which is for the city to hire and properly support an equity officer and the development of a city equity statement. So hopefully, as Casey passes the baton on to us, that's something that we could make sure sees the light of day out of the SEJC.
Thank you, Robin. Just a brief comment for Maria and Flor as well, that the racial equity plan that that Anne kind of navigated you all to was the result of a very intensive and very inclusive process that the city of Albany went through when in the wake of the public execution of George Floyd. And a lot of funds, frankly, went to pay for a consulting firm to follow a process. It actually, you know, this SEJC has, you know, some resonance and really has been historically able to move some pretty important things forward. So a lot of that process of listening sessions went through SEJC, and distilled from it became from that the consultants, this plan was distilled and actually passed through the council. So it's part of the city of Albany, frankly, and that's why whatever work is done, it's important it be rooted in that racial equity plan, because it's already part of the sort of lay of the land of Albany. Important work that we're building on. So thank you so much. I think we're going to move next to the mental health subcommittee. Right now, it's just Jeremiah. So Jeremiah, any comments you have?
Yeah, so mental health, it touches a basis of a lot of different issues. It touches with sobriety, it touches with family issues, personal issues, work-related issues, school issues. Mental health is a very big variety of topics. The first thing I'd like to share with everybody is there's a new phone number for mental health. Everybody's probably familiar with 911 to call for emergencies. Recently, there's been a new phone number you can call. It's 988. So if anybody's having a mental health emergency and you don't know a certain 510 number to call, you just dial 988 and you can get help. So recently with the subcommittee, I've reached out to other districts and regarding substance abuse in high schools. And I was a guest attendee at Granite Bay High School last week. There's this new campaign that's funded by the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, and it's raising awareness to high schoolers about fentanyl. And it's called the One Pill Can Kill campaign. So we're trying to bring that to the Albany schools. And so that's kind of going forward with Albany schools already. That was brought up during a school board meeting last week. And so, yeah, regarding Albany's mental health program, I mean, it's been an ongoing topic. It's kind of Alameda County Mental Health is short staff. They're basically the hours between 9 to 5. There's no nighttime mental health help unless it's a real emergency. But we're working on that. There's one mobile unit, 2 mobile units within all of Alameda County, and the response time could take up hours. But basically what Albany does, if there's a mental health case, the police respond, and the fire department responds. And if it's a 5150 case or a youth case, I believe 5149 is youth, something like that. The EMTs, the ambulance will take the person to a hospital, mental health hospital, and admit the person there. So Albany Police and the fire department has their own thing that they do. So yeah, I'm just kind of reaching out to the youth and getting programs involved in the high school and just sharing the resources available. So yeah, if you have a mental health emergency, you can call 988.
So just, you know, as we person these new subcommittees or, you know, reorganize ourselves, the task of that subcommittee is really restricted to this line here: recommendations regarding the ability and quality of effective mental health services. So as this subcommittee works, this is what our work plan is bound by. Okay, so just to be aware of the kind of work that hopefully will come out of that subcommittee, and just also to say that in the past, we've had presentations, and because you'll see on the agenda, it says presentations. We actually very recently had a presentation by Alameda. Oh my gosh, Anne.
Alameda County Behavioral Services. And it was on the July 6th agenda. So if you go to the July 6th agenda, and you can either hit play next to the item or view the item details, or click on what I did earlier to show all the attachment, including the presentation slides.
Thank you. So that presentation gives a lot of information on what Albany, you know, may be either missing or has access to. So that's kind of the subcommittee work that hopefully will happen, you know, as we move forward. Jeremiah?
Yeah, for some reason I don't have a raised hand feature on my Zoom, but I just want to add that last night during the city council meeting, there's a proclamation that this month is Suicide Awareness Month.
Okay, thank you. So our next subcommittee is the Housing Subcommittee. The Housing Subcommittee is bound by the work on, number one, creating a housing forum, and number two, this exploration of a homeless task force, which actually there has been quite a bit of, you know, history in the city of Albany around that. So that subcommittee, perhaps they want to look into that. And but Jeremiah, I want to make sure you have time.
Yeah, thank you. So last night,
Wait, hang on.
Okay.
Lopez hands raised.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robin. I apologize.
I had a quick comment to further elaborate on Commissioner Pinguelo's statement around both the city's proclamation last night and his mention of the new hotline 9888. And this goes in line with the work plan goals that we do have an opportunity for the city to advocate for California Assembly Bill AB 988, known as the Mile Hall Lifeline and Suicide Prevention Act. And I just want to make sure that's on folks' radar and could be potentially something that the SEJC get behind to convince City Council to support at the local governance level. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Okay.
I apologize. Could you repeat the bill number?
That is Bill AB 988.
Great. Thank you. All right, Jeremiah, do you want to?
Yeah, it's 988. That's
there you go. There you go.
The emergency number you can call is 988. So it kind of goes hand in hand, right? So are we moving on to housing now?
Yes.
So last night during the city council meeting, I believe they approved, it was a lengthy conversation. It took about an hour. I think it was a new business agenda item. Is that 10-1? Something like that. So the city council took a vote. It was 3 yeses out of 5. So they passed their own housing kind of forum, their own housing thing. They passed, was it the San Pablo Avenue plan? I know Ann was there, correct me if I'm wrong, but the city council did pass something last night regarding the housing. Also, the exploration of the homeless task force. I remember when we first started this commission 2 years ago, I believe we did create a homeless task force or a homeless subcommittee, and then it was changed to housing subcommittee. It was changed somewhat. But I mean, I'm all for something specifically regarding the homeless. That's what it was originally 2 years ago. And it kind of went off the topic of homeless and was kind of, now we have a housing subcommittee. So if we could create that homeless task force again, or a homeless subcommittee, that'd be great. But also, Ann, could we change something with that? Could we change it from homeless to houseless, please? No?
Those are the exact wording from the approved work plan.
Oh, so those words are approved. Okay. So I guess we'll take that up with city council. I know they're trying to convert landlords into shelter providers, right? So there's all this grammar correct stuff. So I know people don't really like the word homeless. I think people really prefer the word houseless or unhoused. So that's something we do need to fix. So yeah, that's pretty much everything on that.
And just to add a slight clarification, SEJC can recommend the council to create a homeless task force. SEJC does not create the homeless task force.
Yes, yes. And actually, on that note, the process, which is actually important for you all to know about, which is that if an idea, say, you know, your subcommittee is working, and ideally, I mean, Jeremiah's on his own, but ideally it's not just a single person, right? It's a group of people that are collaborating, or, you know, 2 or at the most 3. And so you then need to write a memo that goes to council, and it's a bit formulaic. It requires labor, it requires work, but then you've kicked it into council for them to start to consider. So it's a mechanism that's important, and it's also some work, just to be clear. Okay, so we're going to move to our last subcommittee, which is, again, it's called the Youth Leadership Subcommittee, but it's bound by our work plan, literally explore a creation of a youth task force. So I wanted to get either Jeremiah or Robin, I'm not sure who was going to talk from this committee. Jeremiah?
Yeah, so it looks like we do need to write a memo, right? So if we're going to create the youth task force, if we're going to create that youth task force, sounds like we need to write the memo, right? So that's something we need to work on, is putting that memo together for city council to create that youth task force. That's a really good idea. I mean, I know I've outreached with Albany's youth myself. Every first and third Friday of the month, I'm at the cafeteria volunteering with Berkeley Food Network's food bank. And so a student came to me last Thursday, and he volunteered on his lunch break to help out. And so also I met with one of the school board's representative, the student school board member. She's trying to get the leadership class together so that way they can volunteer during their lunch break to help with that food bank as well. So we're getting the youth involved as much as we can. So we'll make sure to write that memo for sure.
Yeah, so again, hopefully the 2 of you are communicating, or whoever else is on this, you're bringing this back here. Ideally, we get public comment and hear what the public thinks about a youth task force. That then goes back to your subcommittee. So I think the iterative process is not what I'm hearing here, and it's an important part of the subcommittee work, Jeremiah. So hopefully that can start to happen so that we have a robust interaction with our public, and then that it goes from there to council. Yeah. Okay. So that's all of our subcommittee reports, unless there were other comments. Are we good? Okay. So we're going to have some public comment. I want to make sure that there's time for folks to raise their hand using the feature. It's 3 minutes. All right. Welcome.
Thank you. I just am glad that these subcommittees, that's what they're called, right? Subcommittees?
Yes.
The subcommittees exist, and I hope that there's some progress, especially on the housing / unhoused / home free, whatever the term is that people use. I would really like to see some work being done on that in the subcommittee, and then going to the SEJC, and then going to the council. So I'm looking forward to that, and I really also support the youth task force. I wanted to also just point out that what the city council passed last night was the draft of the housing element that will then go to the state. So that's what was passed last night. And there was discussion because there were 2 versions, and there was a lot of discussion about which version it would go, or some variation on that. And third, I think that it's pronounced LaShawn, the way that Robin pronounced it. And I just to point out that that's how you pronounce it. Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any other hands? And again, this is like, if you are chairing, it just leaving a little extra time there. Okay. All right. So basically, we're going to do the subcommittee reorganization. There are 4 of them. And again, what we did in the past was we asked people to choose 2. I only chose 1 because I was chairing. And when you chair, what you need to do is interact a bit with Anne or whoever our staff liaison is, and coordinate. Perhaps you're coordinating a presentation. You're sort of responsible for bottom lining the agenda and making sure I'm facilitating, like I'm doing right now. And I've talked way too much this meeting, so there's a reason why. I just want to be really clear with people, but in general, you're kind of in facilitation mode. So I want to give folks a minute to think about what the 2 subcommittees you'd like to be on, assuming that we're still doing that. And anyone can make a comment and say, no, let's do something different. But that's what we're sort of looking at right now. And then there can't be more than 3 due to Brown. So first of all, any comments on the process? Like, does that sound good? Folks choose 2. I see some nodding. Any comments about that? Okay, Jim?
Can I suggest that we do this newer people to older people? So we give, I suck at names in general, and this is particularly bad, but Maria and Flor, maybe go first, and then Robin goes next. And then I'm happy to go last after Jeremiah, so that the space doesn't get eaten up by the old people, That's what I was thinking.
Thank you. Flor, did you have a comment?
I'm ready to make a suggestion if you're ready to receive.
Yes, please.
I would love to participate in racial equity and social justice and housing.
Okay, awesome. So sorry. Yes, I thought you meant a suggestion on the process. I think this is great. No, I think it's great if it's, I see lots of nodding. I don't hear anyone raising their hand. Yeah, I see some thumbs up. So let's do that. Let's, Flor has said hers. So, Anne, are you able to write this down and keep track of it? Thank you. Okay, awesome. Maria.
I'm also interested in the housing subcommittee and racial equity, and also could be on the mental and behavioral health subcommittee.
Great. No reason why you can't do 3. It's totally up to you. All right, awesome. So we've got Flor, we got Maria, Robin.
Yes, I will definitely continue to commit with the youth leadership subcommittee. And I'll go ahead and take my chances with the mental health subcommittee. I feel like I have a lot to contribute there. I'm assuming Jim still may have a lot to contribute with the racial equity subcommittee, some of the work he still has there. So I'll hold space for that.
Thank you. All right, awesome. Jeremiah.
So yeah, I'm pretty happy with what I'm on now. So I think I'll just remain the same. If that's okay with everybody.
Thank you.
I just want to mention one more thing, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but we do have a couple new members. And I just want to let the new members know that if you have an idea to create a new subcommittee, whether it be houseless or unhoused subcommittee specifically for that situation, or if there's something specific that you'd like to create a subcommittee for, you're more than welcome to ask the commission to create a subcommittee, and we would take a vote to create the subcommittee. So that's just not to get too ahead of ourselves. We already have a lot of subcommittees, but if you would like to create one, that's always an option.
Thank you. Just to clarify, it needs to be a subcommittee that is listed on the work plan. Or we would need to submit an amendment for the work plan to City Council for City Council to approve first before that can be added to our work plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to clarify, that is a subcommittee that would be specifically working on one of the items in the work plan. Right.
Exactly.
Just to make that crystal clear. Robin, I'd rather have, if it comes down to you or me on the racial equity committee, for rather freaking obvious reasons, excuse my French, I think it should be you and not me. And then I'm happy to consult with you on the side. No, that's not legal because that would violate Brown. So never mind that. But whatever, I'll just make comments in meeting and stuff like that. If that's one of your top ones, I think you really should be on it.
Well, that considered, because I know you and Chair KZ had running meeting notes from past subcommittee meetings, so I could just build off of that as we did when we had our most recent subcommittee meeting. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I wasn't biting off something that you wanted to definitely take a big chew on. But if you're okay with that, trust me, I'm here to cause some good trouble. So it sounds like KZ. So what I'll do is I will remove myself from the mental health subcommittee and instead join the racial equity subcommittee, since there is a lot of intersectional components that come out of that around race and mental health.
Maria.
I just wanted to mention I'm terribly flexible, so I can step in where I'm needed.
We do want to hear from Commissioner Lindsay where he preferred to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also sort of, I actually honestly think that the best thing I can do is help other people get their ideas through, get them in shape into the SEJC, to present to the SEJC and for it to get to council. I can do that in an open meeting with the racial equity or housing. We could do it together if we have to. That's a barrier. That is, a group will have ideas, but not be able to quite get it into shape and get it to SEJC in the form it needs to be, and then get it to council in the form that it needs to be. And so I did that for the Aging in Place subcommittee, for example, and then they really had their ideas already done, and I was just kind of helping them get it through the process. I could be at least nominally on the mental health one. I'm more interested in the youth one. I've worked with youth for practically my whole adult life. So why don't I say that I'll join the youth one, And then on the mental health one, if you have a proposal that you're trying to get into shape, right, to, you know, move it forward, I should be on that committee in order to do that, but it would be the other people that would be primarily putting the proposal together, and my role would be to help you move it forward, if that's okay with the other people on the mental health committee. And you have a thought I can see?
No, I was just going to reiterate who is on which one right now.
Okay.
So it looks like we have 3 members on each of the subcommittee right now. Racial Equity Subcommittee is Lopez, Barakat, and Rios. Mental Health Subcommittee is Barakat, Lindsay, and Garrett Pinguello. And Housing Subcommittee is Barakat, Rios, and Garrett Pinguello. And Youth Leadership Subcommittee is Garrett Pinguello, Lopez, and Lindsay.
Who's on the mental health one?
Mental health is Garrett Pinguello, Barakat, and Lindsay. And I'll send you guys an email letting you guys know who is on what subcommittee and your fellow subcommittee members' contact information.
I thought Robin said he wanted to be on the mental health one because it had a lot of intersection with the racial equity piece.
He changed it to racial equity.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, I know that each subcommittee has 3 members, which is under the number. I mean, we need to have less than a quorum on each subcommittee for it not to be in a public meeting. So we have 3 members. Just a reminder to all the members, because you're on multiple subcommittees, you can only communicate that particular subcommittee topic to the members of that subcommittee. So you can't cross over and say you have something about racial equity subcommittee that you want to share with, say, mental health subcommittee. The place to do that is here during the public meeting and not behind the scenes.
So I cannot, for example, none of us can talk. So Floor, you can't talk to Jeremiah or me about racial equity. It's illegal. And the 3 people on the housing, I mean, outside of the public meeting, the 3 people on the housing subcommittee cannot talk to me or Robin. And if Robin or I was to make a mistake and reach out to you, you'd have to say, we can't talk about this, right? Because we already have a majority, you know, we already have the maximum number. It's only the people on that subcommittee that can talk with you about that item. That's the way it is.
Yeah. Just a historical note that sometimes it can be hard to schedule. And what I would highly recommend, and we actually ended up, you know, we could even use, or you could use time during the meeting to schedule if it comes down to it. Like the scheduling can be very, as you probably all know, can be a huge barrier. And what Anne was saying in terms, she's probably going to talk about the support that she can provide. But one recommendation that I would have is to immediately set up your meeting for, 2 weeks from now or whatever. And then you'll have something to report back on, even if it's, Jim, Robin, and I maybe met for, 25, 30 minutes, just given the nature of things, where things were at with Robin's, family and the accident that happened and lots of, all of our stuff. And so, but we were able to, share out what, and build on it the next month. So just as a heads up, it's huge. It's a huge part of keeping the ball rolling forward. And did you want to say something else about that? No. Okay. Jim.
A couple of things. I think we should have somebody who agrees to be the convener, and we'll get you the contact information right in. And so, you can you don't have to follow the Brown Act within those 3 people, right? I mean, you know, you don't have to worry about that. So you can text each other, you can do whatever the heck you want to set up the meeting. If you actually want to get a proposal on the next agenda, you need to get it to staff about a week before the next meeting, realistically. So that's in approximately 15 days, right? Or 21 days-ish. Meaning that you ideally, if you want to get something on the next agenda, other than just a verbal report, I suggest you meet like in 7 to 10 days. I know that seems really fast, but there's a long lead time in putting together an agenda packet for 43 or 700 or whatever commissions that we have. So it's an enormous number of commissions the city has. So just heads up there, timing wise, if you wait too late, you won't be able to get anything specific on the next agenda. And also, I think we should pick conveners if we can. If, you know.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good idea. That's something that has provided a lot of clarity, so that the convener is just convening the meeting. They're not necessarily the chair or anything like that. They're just bottom lining, making that meeting happen. And that actually was very helpful. So thanks, Jim. I definitely want to, let's do that right now. But also, I just want to say for public, there will be public comment on this item shortly. So, and maybe what we can do, okay, well, why don't I do this? Racial Equity Subcommittee, is there anyone who's willing to convene that meeting?
It's Member Lopez, Member Rios, and Member Barracat.
So I see Flor, is that okay? You down to that? Okay, awesome. Yes. All right. Next, we have the Mental Health Subcommittee. Any of you all want to raise, anyone want to raise their hand and convene?
That's Member Garrett Pinguello, Member Barracat, and Member Lindsay.
Okay, I see Jeremiah's hand.
Yeah,
all right.
It can be.
Okay. And Housing Subcommittee?
That's Member...
Maria raised her hand. I think they know. And then the last one is Youth Leadership.
Maybe I should do that one.
Great. Thanks,
in order to get best chances of getting stuff happening.
Yeah, great. Thank you. All right. Let's have some time for public comment. Please raise your hand if you'd like to comment.
And while we're waiting for public, I just want to let the new members know that if you need help setting up a Zoom space or Zoom time, that I can set up that link, and then you guys can log in to meet.
Thank you, Anne. I don't see a public comment, so we're going to go to our last official.
Excuse me,
Jeremiah?
And Jim, if you're willing to make a friendly amendment, would you be able to convene for the mental health and not going to convene for the youth? That's possible.
I really was thinking on mental health that you two were going to do the work, and I was just going to help you get it in shape and get it through. Frankly, that's like what I did for the aging in place. I didn't actually do any policy work on that. They did the policy work. I helped them get it into shape and moving forward to council.
Okay, yeah. Regarding the youth, let's just really keep in good communication.
Yeah, amen. It's going to be a little tricky for various reasons, but you know, I'm going to give it a go, and I think we have a good chance of.
Okay, you got my email address, right?
Yes.
Okay, looking forward to your emails.
Are you okay with being texted about setting up meetings?
Just emails, please. Just emails. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Okay. And it's also helpful, you know, to kind of set some limits, right? Like, I need to hear from you by this time. I mean, so that's all the kind of, you probably can figure that out. All right. The last agenda item we have is election of officers, and Anne is going to lead this.
Yes, so we would have to vote for a chair and a vice chair, as some of the previous member know that we lost the vice chair last meeting in July. So we're electing both officers in this meeting. So we'll start with the chair. Is there any nominations? You can nominate yourself, you can nominate somebody else as long as the other person is willing to accept the nomination.
Oh, do you want me to do this or are you going to, Anne?
Go ahead, Chair, if you can call on the members.
Okay, I saw Robin's hand and then Jeremiah's.
I would like to go ahead and nominate Commissioner Lindsay for chair of the SEJC.
So I heard you nominate Jim. Yeah, okay. And Jeremiah?
Yeah, I would like to nominate myself, Jeremiah Garrett Pinguello, for chair, please. I haven't missed one meeting in 2 years. I have a perfect attendance record, and I'm ready to step up the plate, learn something new. Thank you.
And I'm not sure the process here.
Yeah, any other nominations?
Thank you.
And if not, Member Lindsay, are you willing to accept the nomination before we vote in reverse order of the nomination? Or
yes.
Okay, so we will
Hang
vote.
on, and there is a public comment. Should it happen now or?
I can.
Okay.
So is the public allowed to make their own suggestions for who they think should be the, the chair? Is that something, I feel like that's what happened last year maybe, but I'm not sure. So I'm just checking with you, Anne.
Usually not, but you're welcome to make public comment. So then during public comment, you can make recommendations.
All right, thank you. I would like to see Robin Lopez be the chair. Thank you.
Robin, you have any thoughts? you down, or you want to stay back, or? I mean, not that it. No.
I would have to unfortunately, respectfully decline, just given bandwidth of everything else going on.
Yeah, got it.
Thank you, though.
Okay.
The public comment.
Yeah.
Okay, then we will start with the last nomination first, since Member Lopez, or Commissioner Lopez declined the nomination. We'll start with Commissioner Garrett Pinguello. I will take a vote, and if you would just say yes or no to elect Member Garrett Pinguello as the chair. Commissioner Barakat?
Hang on, sorry, Anne. Can you vote yes on both of these?
And so the process is we take the vote on the last person nominated first. Then we go through, and if he received majority of the vote, then he is chair. Then we don't go to the next nomination. But if we take the vote and he does not receive a majority of the vote, then we go to the next nomination.
Thank you.
Okay, are we ready for votes? Commissioner Barakat?
Nay.
Commissioner Garrett Pinguello?
Yes.
Commissioner Lindsay?
No.
Commissioner Lopez?
Nay.
Commissioner Rios?
Abstain.
Commissioner Chair Zapata?
No.
Okay, so the motion failed, and then we move to the next nomination. is to nominate Commissioner Lindsay as the next chair. Ready? Commissioner Bearcat,
Aye.
Commissioner Garapinguelo,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Rios,
Yes.
and Chair Zapata. Or-
Yes. Yes. Outgoing.
So Commissioner Lindsay is our next chair. So now we go to the vice chair election. And I'm willing to take nominations.
I see Robin's hand and then Jeremiah.
I'll go ahead and nominate Commissioner Pinguelo for vice chair. I do acknowledge that he is quite present for every meeting, and I believe that may be where his role is better suited for him.
Jeremiah.
I'm speechless. I want to say thank you very much, Member Lopez. That really means a lot to me. About to cry right now. I guess I don't need to nominate myself because I'm already nominated. Thank you.
Flor, and then I have a nomination.
Hi, I'd like to nominate myself for vice chair.
Well, I was about to nominate, so I actually think it's important that a new member be vice chair. I just want to say that I'm glad to hear that you did that because the vice chair is it's kind of you step in at the last minute, but it is sort of a shadow, and it could be used that way. And I would love to see you pair with and work with Jim on that. So I'm glad you said that.
Okay, so then we will again go in reverse order. So this is to elect Commissioner Rios as the next vice chair. Commissioner Bearcat,
Aye.
Commissioner Garapinguelo,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Commissioner Rios,
Aye.
and Commissioner Zapata.
Yes.
Okay, so the motion passes. The next vice chair, I'm sorry, is Commissioner Rios.
Okay, well, we are now moving into, thank you so much. We're now moving into future agenda items. So this part of the meeting is basically when you all, or as a commission, we get to request any future agenda items. This sort of is on the new chair the chair to follow up and kind of keep their eye on it. Jim, you're going to need to, follow up on the future agenda items. I would like to speak up about direct cash transfers, which Julie has been talking about for months. And I feel really bad, Julie. I want to publicly apologize to you because I feel like we should have had a presentation about direct cash transfers, and I did not provide any leadership on that. It's an incredible program. It really sticks with me what you said about what you said publicly in these meetings about the, basically just giving people money and the research around that. And so I'm really curious what it might look like in a small city like Albany. Of course, this is totally up to the discretion of the chair and working with the city, but I'm going to just stick a pin in that. I don't know who's supposed to facilitate this, but I'm going to finish the meeting. All right, Jeremiah.
Yeah, I'd like to request once again for the Berkeley Food Network for someone to come in and do a presentation next month, please. Thank you.
I think we actually have that scheduled. Yeah, and yeah.
I just want to make sure it's on future agenda items, make sure I say it now.
All right. Any other? Yes, Maria.
I was just wanting to bring up the idea of either crafting an agenda item or proposing some kind of outreach to the community to grab attention towards this commission, to get some community feedback, to hear more voices. And I think part of that might be useful to have a outreach plan of some kind to the community. And I don't know what that might look like.
May I ask for a point of clarification here? So are you saying that we would, it's not on a work plan unless we could hornswoggle it into one of them, but we can have a presentation on something that's not on the work plan or not?
A presentation,
Yeah.
which, if it's related to the work plan item.
If we can find a reasonable connection. And what you're talking about, Marie, is the problem of all the, I just want to see if I understand you correctly. The problem being that we have a number of open positions on commissions in the city of Albany, not just ours, but other ones, and also the problem of the composition of those commissions. Is that correct?
Actually, no. Actually, I was more thinking of how to engage with the community and find out what their needs are, what their needs are in the community, to have more like immediate feedback from the community and requests of us.
I see. Okay.
And just to piggyback on that, sorry, Robin, I'll say my comments briefly, which is that I actually think that would be a great thing to talk about, because I think over time, SEJC, maybe you all want to talk about the in-person, maybe Anne could share like upcoming, news about whether or not it's going to be in person. And I think that, you're hitting on something, because we really do have like some regulars that provide public comment, and that's not to say there's not people at home watching on YouTube and things like that, but it definitely is I think a great thing for people to put their heads together on. I see Robin and then Jeremiah.
Yes, I would like to, if possible, request a future agenda item pertaining to Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. If at minimal, perhaps getting a presentation from someone to discuss the historical significance of this and how it plays into our racial equity subcommittee. In part because the city council did pass a proclamation last night. The proclamation was a bit different from last year's proclamation. Last year's proclamation had a lot more meat to it and acknowledged local educators, business owners, and community members. And I feel the SEJC has an opportunity to uplift those voices and make them more visible, while at the same time seeing how we could interface with some of the schools or school groups. I'm aware that Familias Latinas de Albany is also trying to work on hosting something for Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. And this could be an opportunity to bring more community members into our meeting if we put an agenda item that's socially and culturally relevant to our community on the next meeting agenda. Thank you.
Jeremiah, did you have a comment? No.
Yeah. I actually had one more future agenda item regarding mental health. If I could get a presentation, just future agenda item, just to let a presentation happen. I'm going to either try to get the DEA or the National Guard or the One Pill Can Kill campaign to come give just a short presentation about, mental health and fentanyl, and just kind of raise awareness about things going on with that.
I couldn't hear you, and I'm madly trying to take notes here. That was the National Guard, the DEA.
Sorry about that, Jim. I think my microphone was down. Okay. I'm regarding a presentation. Future agenda item for a presentation. I'm going to try to either get the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, or the National Guard, or the One Pill Can Kill campaign come and do a short presentation. It would be one of the three. It will be a short presentation, under 5 minutes, to raise awareness about
the city has
what's
to
going on with mental
organize these,
health
so it can't
and
just be you. So what was the name of the
regarding a
third
lot
one?
of unhoused individuals.
Okay. All right. Got it.
I see Flor and then Maria.
Thank you, Chair Zapata. I would really like, as a new member, to get an update on what the racial reparations would be or intentions are of Albany, so that we can get up to speed and see where we can step in and make some further recommendations.
All right, and then Maria.
Apologies if this is inappropriate, but I wanted to make a comment just on the on Jeremiah's agenda proposal on the source of the presentation being from a state entity as such that's punitive, carceral, and has a legacy of violence and racial violence targeting communities of color with punitive drug policy and enforcement. And so I wondered if there was a way to bring in community resources that could give us mental health and drug
Yeah, well, I won't get the DEA or the National Guard, that's fine. But the One Pill Can Kill campaign is basically 3 mothers who have lost their son within the past year from a fentanyl counterfeit pill. So you're right. I agree with you. We don't need the DEA up in here. We don't need the National Guard coming in here. And most likely it would be the One Pill Can Kill campaign. It's 3 mothers who have lost their son within the past year of counterfeit pills. Thank you for bringing that to attention. And I agree with you 100%. Good catch.
And one thing just to be really clear about is that, it is the chair's works on juggling all of this, right? And working with staff. I mean, Anne is amazing. Jim, you're really lucky to have, an amazing staff member to work with like Anne. So that, Jim, it's that hard juggle of making sure the agenda, we've made mistakes to have too many things on the agenda. Anne is a great eye on that. And we've also, I don't think we've made a mistake on having too few things, but we have overloaded the agenda. Anne is really, really good at that. So lots of future work to do. These are great future agenda items. I don't see any more hands. Therefore, I think I'm going to say that our next meeting is October 4th at 7 p.m.
Chair,
Yes.
There is a public comment. I'm assuming it's to comment on the future agenda.
Yes, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for noticing. I just wanted to thank Chair Sabata for bringing up the direct cash transfer. I'm excited to think that there might actually be some conversations about that. And I think that it also is very intersectional with all of the issues that we're addressing. And so it really, it has the power, it has the potential to make difference in different people's lives. Another thing I just wanted to mention to Maria is that the topic of getting the word out about SEJC is something that I've pushed in city council meetings, talked a lot about how the city doesn't do a very good job of getting out to the public. They're good about the website. And CMAC, which is the Community Media Access Channel, that committee was talking about doing more outreach. So you might want to contact them and see what they've done. I was on CMAC, I was the chair for a while, and that was one of our things that we were working on. So you might want to see what's going on with that, just to get an idea of what the ideas they've come up with. We had a lot of ideas about how to let people in the community know about SEJC and what's being talked about. And then I also,
if you can wrap up, your time is out.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Sorry, I didn't put up the timer, but I was running the timer here.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to see if it was possible for somehow the topic of the porta potties being removed from the city of Albany being in part of one of these presentations, or I don't know. I just like to see that addressed. Thank you.
All right. Well, sorry, Rosemary.
Unmute, yes. I'd like to second what Julie just said to Maria, because I frequently think about how I came to know about the meetings, and I can't remember, and I wish I had known sooner. The other is just to say, I don't know if this depends on other people, obviously, but that the 4th is Yom Kippur. So I don't know if that has a bearing on when the next meeting is going to be. Just an FYI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I am going to say that the next meeting is Tuesday, October 4th. This meeting is adjourned. Good night.